Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Marianne. For those of you who are new, I live in Canada with my husband and 2 kids, ages 3 and 4, and I make videos on simplified motherhood through easy organization. If you like that type of content, please like and subscribe. I have a new video every single Saturday. Today I am taking you with me as we DIY a kind of mudroom storage area in our garage. As you can see, this is the before shot, so we don't have a ton of storage. That blank wall used to have a central vac, which we never used, so we took that down for more space, and we are going to be adding some storage for coats, getting rid of all those extra wires, and having a new shoe rack. So let's get started. So the first thing was the shoe rack. So this is an old dresser, honestly, we just found on the side of the road, and it was just out for garbage. We just removed it. It had drawers, which we took out, and then you'll see that we take off the top and we add some shelves and we kind of paint it and everything. The reason we went this route, honestly, we had such a hard time finding something. Like, I wanted something substantial. Like, I wanted a big shoe rack that could hold our boots in the winter and that could hold all of our shoes. However, we didn't want to spend a fortune, and so this in total cost us $30 in materials. It ended up turning out really well. This DIY took a lot of time. This is the most time consuming part of the entire project for sure, but in the end it did work out. If we had less time, like next time if we did differently, I would have had like a local carpenter make something super simple, because we didn't need anything fancy, but yeah. So anyway, you'll see we ended up sanding it. Poor Scott, I have a ton of footage of him sanding because he sanded so much, but then you'll see that he ended up having to use basically a Versol, like a paint thinner on it to scrape off the paint. It has like some old 1970s paint that's like so oil and so strong. So as I mentioned, this portion of the project, like the shoe rack, cost $30. So all we paid for were the rubber mats you'll see that we eventually put on the shelves. Everything else for this, like this Varsol and stuff, I think that actually we got from Scott's parents. They had it at their house, and the paint we just had already at the house. And then the rest of the project we spent on 2 other items. One was, you'll see there's like a large area rug we use, a new mat, which you'll see as well, which is super cute, which we got locally. And then there might have been like a few other little tidbits, like new extra paintbrushes or something that we paid, $5 or $10 for. But basically the main portions of the project the total was $90. So we were really happy with that, because we really didn't want to spend anything at all. So yeah. So as much as this is awful for Scott with all this paint peeling, it's actually really satisfying to watch back. I've loved watching this portion of the footage. As you can see, it was a bit of a struggle, but it was really worth it. And it's funny because you'll see that we're kind of getting at the natural wood, but we don't end up staining it. We end up painting it, so you don't even see the wood. But if you're really into the natural look of wood, it would look really pretty cool. It was some kind of a neat color under there. So as I mentioned, we added the shelves. So the actual wood portion of that you see Scott cutting around, that's actually old shelving, like or I don't know what it is, a board from shelving that Scott had for the garage, and we just stole some of that from there. And then this rubber mat is what we paid $30 for. He just used an X-Acto knife, cut around it, and then we didn't even glue like the rubber to the shelf. We just wanted it on there. Honestly, I kind of like the idea of having it, being able to take it off in the wintertime to kind of like clean and get ready for the spring and that kind of thing, because they will get really wet with all of our boots in the winter time. So that part worked out really well. If it bugs me in the future, I can always adhere the rubber to the shelf, but for now we just kind of left it sitting on there, and it sits in quite tight and kind of fits perfectly. So next you'll see we did our coat rack. So we ended up, these boards again was just wood we had left over, and then some stain. We quickly stained them, nothing fancy. I will admit that I wish I painted these white to match the shoe rack. We were thinking about, we kind of wanted them to blend in with a brick, I guess is what we were thinking. And they look totally fine, but I would have probably painted them white. It might have got stained up, so maybe it was good in the end, but it would have looked cute, I think, with all white. So we added 2 levels of coat racks. The kids, we didn't add one. We kind of debated about fitting one in that the kids could reach at the moment. They're only 3 and 4, but we didn't end up including one that they can reach because we just didn't have the space. Honestly, they would have had to be kind of clambering out the shoe rack. So we just have 2 that we can reach. So next you'll see is when we got rid of all these extra wires. There was so much like random wires that we no longer needed, and that whole like plug, that outlet, I guess you call a box, I think they call it, Scott took that out completely. Scott's an electrician, so I guess whenever possible we try to do stuff, improvements that we can, that he has like the skills for. So we just tidied all those up. We left the ones we had to keep, and we just got one of those little plastic covers that just snap right over top, something you would use kind of if you were putting like a TV up and trying to hide your TV cords. So next you'll see we're adding our hooks. These hooks, again, I think that Scott had them either from an old side job or he got them from his parents. I think, honestly, I have no idea. We kind of were just scrounging around for stuff because we didn't want to spend a ton of money. They're totally fine. And I kind of like that there's 2 like prongs, I guess, on each hook. So it's just more space for extra coats, so you're not layering them on top of each other, which always gets kind of annoying. And next was the final day, and this is where we were kind of putting everything together, cleaning up the area and getting all the mats down, getting the shoe rack set out, and I was super excited. This whole day was like so satisfying. This project took us so long. If you see in the earlier footage, like it was definitely spring, and now this is July, or it might have been even August when we did this. So the actual large area rug, or like it's like an indoor-outdoor rug, that was my biggest kind of request for the whole project. I wanted this space to create, I wanted to be like a little tiny mudroom. Like I wanted to have a very distinct area to create a space just for us to kind of get ready in the morning, get ourselves ready, and to have it kind of try to be separate from the garage. So that area rug was huge. Had a hard time finding one, but ended up with this one. I think it's 5x6. I'll link it below. It's nothing fancy. Again, that was that big area rug was $30. And I think we just ended up getting it at Home Depot or Lowe's or something. And then the 2 smaller mats are absolutely my favorite part of the project. They're like kind of like the cute features, and I totally love them. The one was made locally.
Guys, we are done, and I am so happy. Do you ever have projects that feel like, am I ever gonna get this done? We started this so long ago, and it's finally finished, and it's just so satisfying. So first thing was the shoe rack. We just needed something substantial, something big to hold all of our shoes and boots. I think that we found kind of the perfect solution. Adding the wood shelves and then adding the rubber on top. I think the rubber is gonna be super functional to be able to wipe down in the wintertime. So I'm really pumped about that part. Second big part was the hooks. We had a few hooks, but not a ton, and adding the hooks will make our lives so much easier. So we have 4 members in our family, and we chose 8 hooks. We each have 2, so like 1 for a coat and 1 for a bag, basically. Another small but important part was just covering up and getting rid of all the extra wires. I wanted to make it kind of look attractive, tidy, So just getting rid of all of those wires, the ones we weren't using, and then covering up and tidying up the ones we do need to keep, that is like, again, small, but I found really significant to the project. Anytime you're doing little DIYs or little home projects, I try to find ways to make the space simpler and tidier without spending a ton of money or without putting a ton of effort in. Honestly, the rugs were probably my favorite part, probably the part that I had the most kind of in my mind when I was visualizing the project. Wanted some way of creating like a distinct area and space as our like, I think it's 5x8. I'll link below the one that we chose. Honestly, finding the rug was probably the hardest part. First of all, I wanted to get secondhand and I could not find anything. We did go brand new, which is fine. It wasn't expensive at all. I think we will eventually switch out this rug. I mean, it'll probably wear out anyway. Now that I have it here, to be totally honest, it looks a little blue in this light. I want it to look more gray. It's not perfect, but at this point, done is better than perfect. So I know that now that we have the groundwork laid out, and I know what size works, and I know what looks awesome in the space, I know that that rug I can easily switch out in 6 months or a year if I have to. The only little decor part that I added with the 2 little mats that I have on top as well, which I also really, really love. I will link below. You might recognize the stripe one. We actually use that in our office space, but I stole it from there temporarily. I'm always switching out different areas of the house. So for now, I'm gonna leave it in here and see how it looks. Because it's black and white, I don't want it to be completely ruined, so I might take it downstairs for the winter months and just bring it back up for summer. The actual smaller mat, like the welcome mat, was made locally, so I will link that below as well in case you're local. And it's super cute and I love it, and it was really inexpensive. Like I think it was $30. Things I didn't do but I was considering was this is our door that goes into the house, and I scrubbed it right down because it was really dirty. But if I wanted to go one step further, I would have probably painted this door, and I think it would make a huge impact. The other thing I almost did and still might do is get like a little sign for the door, like a little welcome sign. That would totally just be an extra just to make it look cute. But for now, I'm super happy with how it's turned out. It is super functional, it looks cute. So I hope this gives you some inspiration and motivation to create really simple, easy solutions in your home to make it function better, to look good, and to stay organized. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and comment below. If you have any questions, leave them as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.